high-quality field this year.
What's the entry fee to be entered in it?
It is, if you're a member of NATAS, National Academy of Theater and Television Arts and Sciences, entry fee is $85. So, and we entered twice, and we got 2 nominations
Good.
out of it. It's judged by the other chapters throughout the United States. Each kind of region has its own chapter. Larger states have several chapters. California will have a northern chapter and then a southern chapter. There's all sorts. I believe judging happens by a couple different chapters at the same time. One of them was Texas. Texas has its own chapter. That's how they do it.
Do they have recycling?
Do they what?
Making rude comment about our
About Texas?
neighbor state.
Is it the same category that we won in last year, or is it?
It is.
Good.
We got, and that was kind of the surprise that we were nominated in the same categories.
Yeah.
As we applied, we only submitted for 2 of the categories.
Who will go and represent this video?
That would be me.
Oh, okay, great.
I will go. It's in St. Louis.
Yeah.
So
Business trip.
it is a business trip. Got to represent though.
Yeah.
So hopefully we come back with hardware again. But just wanted to show that and make that announcement. And let's jump into the month of August. On our YouTube channel, compared to last month, our views have gone up quite a bit. And you can see they've gone up. They went up by about 1,000 something views. And the reason why is you see that spike there that kind of helped contribute to it is one of our videos finally usurped Today in America, the greedy goats of Northwest Arkansas. That was done by our newest member of the media services, Justin Rowe, who started in June. He put that together, and it's been well received. And this greedy goats, I don't know if you've seen it, but represents a lot of the type of thing that we want to do outside of the meeting coverage. And he also did number 3, which was the christening of the new fire engine down in Station 3, I believe. And that's okay, 143 views, but that also came out at the very end of July. So, and I am going to show you Greedy Goats in case you haven't seen it. It's 5 minutes long, so I'm not going to play the whole thing, and you can find it on our YouTube channel to see it. I'm going to show you a little bit of it.
It's a great one.
It started when we bought a little farm, and it had bush honeysuckle and blackberry vines. It was a little kind of grown up. So we bought some goats to clear it, and they did a great job. We have 18 goats now, and so we hire them out to eat other people's brush. They do a great job of it.
The City of Fayetteville Parks Department has had a volunteer adopt a park and adopt a trail program for many years, and one of the areas of focus for that program is invasive species removal and habitat restoration. So Greedy Goats contacted us and said, hey, we're interested in what y'all are doing. We've got goats, and how can we work together? So we sat down and we were looking at this in terms of the goats are like volunteers.
The city, helped out by essentially connecting them with a location that we, needed invasive species control at, provided a really visible location for him in Wilson Park, right in the middle of town. So it's actually been a really good complement to some of the other work that we've been doing in trying to evaluate and create an invasive species policy citywide. So this has been a really good complement to that effort and that work.
Goats eat. They just eat. They eat all day. They can eat here at the park all day, and when we take them home, the first thing they do is start eating again. They just eat. They're just greedy for more and more. They're greedy goats.
Poison ivy is not harmful to the goats at all. We've talked to greedy goats about that a lot, and they talk about how the goats eat poison ivy like it's candy.
Goats really like poison ivy. I think that's the thing they look for first. When they're introduced to a new area for them to eat, they'll look for the poison ivy first, and they'll look for the bush honeysuckle and the honeysuckle vines and privet. They really like privet. The things that they like to eat are the invasive species that Fayetteville's trying to get rid of. So that works out really well.
I've had several sustainability directors in other communities across the Southeast reach out to get.
But you kind of get a picture of, it's an informational piece. Also got some.
Cut more of the goats, that would be even better. I think it's really
Community
cool
feedback.
that we live in a city that just provides us with some good entertainment. Just watching goats eat leaves and grass and poison ivy to help the city, help us be cleaner and more natural and healthier. So it's a pretty cool idea.
This is a great project. The public loves the goats, and I hope it continues.
The community reaction has been, just phenomenal. I mean, folks are out here every day checking out the goats, bringing their kids out here to watch. So yeah, I think a lot of folks are really, really interested in trying to use this, not just in Northwest Arkansas, but across the country as an innovative way of doing brush removal and invasive species control.
He did a very nice job of putting together a lot of
Yeah.
material and interviews and things like that. And this is the type of thing that I've discussed before that we want to do, this kind of informational piece that's not so much meeting-based, but little human interest stories
Yeah.
in terms of the city and its citizens. And let's see. We'll go to the demographics. Of course, people in the United States watch us. That's right. And this rarely changes anyway, so I just put it there for your interest. There you can see the spike as a result of the greedy goats. The majority of people are still watching it on their computers, which is good. And number two is mobile phone. And I've pointed this out before, is that attention spans of people last longer when they're on their mobile devices as opposed to the computer. I guess they're hopping around on the computer or something. But if they're watching it on their mobile device or mobile phone, you can see their average view duration is a lot higher than anything else. That's kind of an interesting statistic. And that little spike towards the end of the month is when the fire engine christening happened.
That one's really good too.
Yeah. And I thought I had the fire engine here somewhere. Oh, this is it. I jumped ahead. I'll go ahead and play a little bit of this too. We've received a lot of comments on this because it also talks
I
about.
want to welcome everyone to Fire Station number 3. Thank you all for using your valuable time to join us on this blistering hot day to christen our new fire truck, your new fire truck, and place it in service. This is an exciting day for the fire department and a significant day for the citizens of our great city. This fire truck represents the first step in a multiple-year plan brought forward by the mayor and approved by the city council to replace the frontline apparatus that are the front line of defense for our community and our firefighters. So on behalf of the men and women of the Fayetteville Fire Department, we give a big thank you for the additional safety that these new fire apparatus will provide. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce one of my favorite human beings, the mayor of the great city of Fayetteville, the Honorable Lionel Jordan. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you all. Well, it's certainly an honor and a privilege to be here today. I want to thank Chief Dayringer, first of all, for his vision for the fire department. Let's give him a round of applause today. Your tireless attention to detail has assured this city of getting the required equipment at the lowest possible cost. And at the end of the day, the important thing that the fire department does for this city, they protect lives and they protect property. And I want to thank you for doing that. And this fire truck today is going to help us do that very thing. So it is an honor and a privilege to be here today to be able to introduce this new fire apparatus.
You all may not know that horses are a great tradition in the fire service. You've all seen pictures or films of the charging horses pulling the steam engine pumpers used in the early days of the fire service. Some old timers in the fire service still use the term the drop. When the alert tone or alarm is activated, when horses were in the firehouse, the harnesses that they used to pull the steam pumpers were hooked onto the ceiling. And so when the drop hit, or when the alert tone came on, those harnesses would drop down out of the ceiling and the horses would come out and step right up into them. And the firefighters would then frantically hook them up quick and then bolt off down the road with the bell clanging. New horses, when they arrived at the firehouse the first time, they would back them into the station. So that's why I'm going to ask you all to gather around this fire truck in a few minutes, and we will push the fire truck, which is one of our new horses, back into this firehouse and christen it with the uncoupling of the hose and the ringing of the bell, and put your new fire truck in service. All right, come on.
Actually, the force inside pulls back.
And there you have it. And that's something that normally we would cover, and it would just be a bunch of talking heads. And here we're doing these types of things and punching them up now, adding the more visuals, the history, getting into that. It's very newsy, which you would recognize. Mm-hmm. And it just makes it more interesting. And a lot of people have responded very favorably to it. And again, this is kind of more of the same stuff that we will be doing, make it visually interesting. But okay, there's the demographics, and let's go ahead and move into the Granicus information. Here's the overview for July. We had a couple spikes in viewership dealing with various kind of construction things, bridges, and whatnot. Like the July 7th City Council meeting was pretty popular. 955 total streams. It's down compared to the previous month. The previous month had the 119 ordinance come into effect, so I knew there would be a drop. They're coming, here's where they're coming from. People are pretty much accessing it through our new website, the Civic Plus website, through direct links. Concentrated, in Fayetteville and in the surrounding area, Dallas being pretty big too. Comparatively, as you can see, the numbers in terms of Granicus dropped way off. Last month we had over 3,000 views as a result. This month it's under 1,000. So video on demand is a little down, but it's all right. There's my chart that goes off the chart. But I left in the numbers. So the numbers are, which didn't fill in, 3,083 in July, 3,083 still much better than the previous years. So video on demand has become a much more necessary service because more people are accessing it, whether internally within the city or externally from the citizens to get their information. And that is the end of that report. And we'll move to Dan, who's going to talk about
Can I ask one
FPTV.
question?
Sure, go ahead.
I learned something in Monday night in our Environmental Action Committee meeting. I asked the person sitting over here, said we were having a video or slideshow, and I said, well, could you turn the lights off? Well, it was partly because I couldn't see it as well from the side. And, but for the sake of the TV camera, there is a feed from your computer directly into it now.
Yes, there
for
is.
These rhythms. So
That's right.
It's going on to the show, and they don't have to worry about having a bright screen up here.
That's right.
That's the first time I realized that it changed. Yeah.
Yeah, we went ahead and made that change because originally you wouldn't be able to see. And that's all due to the remote equipment. When we used to come up here and have to bring the camera, we would basically be shooting the wall, and you couldn't make out what was on the screen. Now we've got the direct feed from either here or in the computer back there. We're using the computer back there so we can get at least some of the audio. And it's basically camera 4 is what we take, and we just switch to it, and they see that nice and clear in the videos and stuff.
Let's see, because every time a park board, planning commission, all these things, in the past, people have only seen a little bitty screen in the background, or sometimes there was nothing, the information that was there for the public was not being shown in a view that was legible, shall we say, and that's much better. Thank you for that.
Sure. Thanks for the videos too. I think it always helps to see the work you guys put into stuff.
Yep. I thought we're going to start doing that, so now you can actually see
Good.
it and have reference to it.
Good.
And hope that helps.
Yeah. All right. Good evening, everyone. So July at Fayetteville Public Access Television was a little lighter, coming off of a historic June. We saw our normal summer kind of drop off, but at the same time stayed steady with equipment use. And then our new level of increased field use continued, so that for the first time was not just a spike, but is becoming a trend, which we're very excited about. And then we had our continued diverse production activity at the Television Center.